Gemara on Daf Ches. I'm going to discuss a little bit the Minyan Tefillah. The Gemara says, and towards the Ches Amud Aleph, Omer Rav Ami Ein Tfilaso Sho'odem Nishmas Elim Kein Mesim Nafsho B'chapo. Person's tefillah is not nishmas, is not considered, is not accepted unless he puts his nefesh in his kapo, his neshama in his hands. That means he's mechaber. Shenemar nisa levavenu el kapai. Nisa levavenu el kapai. Put our hearts in our hands, like we're almost like we're begging. El kapai. Eini vo'ikem Shmuel Amor alei v'dorish v'yifatu b'piyam v'vushonim yechasu lomo v'libam l'noch limo. It says v'yifatu b'libam. They were mafata b'piyam. With their mouths they were mafata. They said one thing and they meant another. V'vushonim yechasu lomo. And with their lips they spoke lies. V'libam l'noch limo. And their heart was not with them. V'lo namna b'briso. And they weren't mammon with the bris. V'yafach became v'hurachum yechaper avon, and even so, Rebbeinu Shalom yechaper avon. Rebbeinu Shalom accepts their tefillah and gives them a kapor. Everything more lo kasher. This is not difficult. Kan biyochid, when a person davens by himself and he's not part of a group, then he has to nisa kapayim elav avenu. He has to put his neshama, he has to put his full kavanah in order for his tefillah to be nishmas. And kam betzibur. But when a tzibur davens, when the whole group davens, then even as the pasuk says vayifatu b'piyam, they're speaking one thing, they mean another. They're basically not saying the truth as they see it. Afal pikei b'libam l'nochanimo l'nemna b'briso. They're not truthworthy. Afal pikei v'huracham yechaper. Rashi says over here, V'libam lo nochanimo, and their leg was not straight with whom? Ima Kodesh Baruch Hu, that's what Rashi says. V'yafa pikein kosav b'samav v'rachom yechaper avon. That's what we said in the beginning of Marbos. V'rachom yechaper avon. V'shomeya tefilosim, and Rebbeinu Shalom listens to their tefillah. V'hecha marta shein tefilosim nishmasa. How do you say before that the tefillah is not nishmas unless he focuses and has his whole kavon in the tefillah. Elim kein meisim nafsho b'chapo, unless he puts his nefesh together in his kapo. That means he shows it. It's clear to everyone that he's davening. Kloimer shenafsho mechavenes b'kapo. His nefesh is put in his palms openly and showing everyone his kavon. And we think more b'tzibur. Tfilos and nishmas afapisha ein leg kulim shom. The tefillah is heard, even though they're not complete. Their lev is not kulam, all their heart is not focused. Kirasiv yifatu b'piyam. They're trying to fully banish him kilu by yifatu b'piyam. Bidvor lashon rabbi. Okay. And b'yochid, but a yochid einu ela im kein lipo mechaber. The yochid, his tefillah is nishmas only if he's mechaber. He has the right focus, he has the right intention, the right concentration. Then his tefillah is nishmas. This is what the Gemara says. The Gemara is machalik in a tefillah v'yachid and a tefillah v'tzibur, a tefillah v'yachid. His tefillah works, nishmas, when he puts his nefesh in his kapo, he's concentrating, he has full kavana, then his tefillah is accepted. Mashen kena tzibur, their tefillah is accepted even if they're not fully concentrating, if they're not on the same level. By fatur b'piyam, they're saying one thing but they mean another. This is basically what the Gemara says. Rabbi Akiva here on the Rambam, Lechara asks a question over here. The Rambam says in Perek Beis Mehilchos Tshuva, Afal pi tshuva batzaka yafalei. Even though tshuva and a person's crying out always works, batzaka really means tefillah. The 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, your tefillah is better, is more accepted. And it's accepted by the Rebbeinu Shalom. Look for the Rebbeinu Shalom when he can be found. And call him when he's near. But Medvar Mamor, the Gemara says, B'yochid, that's a yochid. A yochid, not all the time is it accepted. Avo b'tzibur, kol zaman, all the time. She'oisim tshuva, that they're doing tshuva, v'tzoakim, and they're davening, b'leiv sholem, with a complete heart, hey nani, they're answered. Shenamar kashem elokeinu b'chor kareinu. Like we banish them whenever we seek him, whenever we cry out to him, b'chor and he's with us. So here the Rambam says that even tzibur needs a leiv sholem. Before we said that Rashi interprets it that tzibur does not need a leiv sholem, that tefillah is nishmas, that tefillah is accepted, even if they don't have full kavonas, even if they're just saying the words and they're not concentrating and they mean other things or they're thinking other things. And then here the Rambam says, b'leiv sholem. All the time at Tzibur's tefillah is always accepted. And Yochid's tzibur sometimes accepted, sometimes not accepted. During the Aser Shemei Tshuva, he's always accepted. But Tzibur's Tshuva, Tzibur's tefillahs are always accepted all year around. And here, but it has to be with a leiv sholem. That's the Rambam says, a leiv sholem. And here, the Gemara in Taanis says it doesn't necessarily have to be with a leiv sholem. This is Reb Kiva Eiger brings this question. And Reb Kiva Eiger wants to say in the name of Reb Chaim Alfadri in his Agoyas, and he wants to say, he wants to answer this apparent contradicting, that what the Rambam means, what the Gemara means, that you need a leiv sholem. And at tzibur, if you have a whole minyan, or even more than a minyan, 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, probably among that group of people you will find one person who is davening properly. One person who's not davening properly, okay, so you know what, his tefillah will not be accepted. But if you have 10 people, even better, 20 people or 30 people, probably you will find at least one person whose tefillah is proper. Because of that one person, and he's davening with everybody else, he's davening with the tzibur, so his kavanah, his leiv sholem, is somehow connects with everybody else, and that tefillah is accepted. But if you have 10 people, and they're all looking at their phones, and they're all looking at, even though they're davening, but they're texting and doing other things, for sure that tefillah is not niskal. That's what Reb Chaim Alfadri says. Of course, he didn't use the example of the texting. I'm just using it. But this is what Reb Chaim Alfadri says, one answer. And then another answer, he possibly gives over here. The Hosamari Baser Shemei Tshuva Ava B'Shayim Osashana Sok Shiyeh B'Leiv Sholem. So he says over here that he says in Aser Shemei Tshuva, he wants to say maybe the Rambam, the Gemara over here, and Taanis is speaking in Aser Shemei Tshuva. In Aser Shemei Tshuva, the Yochid has to have kavanah, otherwise his tefillah is no good. Aser Shemei Tshuva, the Tzibur, Kodesh Baruch Hu, is in a good mood, as they say. He's waiting for our tefillahs. So even though we're not, the Tzibur is not being mechavan by Kodesh Baruch Hu except the tefillahs. However, all year around, even the Tzibur has to be on a leiv sholem. So those are the terutzim that Reb Kiva Eiger gives. One teretz again is what? That in a tzibur probably will have at least one person who is mechavan, who is davening properly. Say the fact that he's combined with the other people somehow uplifts the whole tefillah of everybody. So it's a musar haskell. One person can change a whole tzibur's tefillah, and because of that one person, so the whole tefillah of the tzibur is changed. Masha'ekin yochid, if a person is davening by himself, so either he's davening or either he's concentrating and he's davening properly or not. That's the way it goes. That's one teretz. Another teretz says the Rambam is speaking, the Gemara in Taanis is speaking in Aser Shemei Tshuva. In Aser Shemei Tshuva, which is a Zaman Rotzen, but Hashem has special Yemei Rachamim for Klal Yisrael. So if it's tzibur davens, even if they're not all concentrating, but Afal B'Kena Kodesh Baruch Hu will accept the tefillah of the tzibur. Masha'ekin, the whole year around, even a tzibur has to concentrate properly in order for their tefillah to be accepted. These are the two teretz Kiva Eiger says. I want to maybe put in another teretz and interpret it in a different way. The Rambam in Hilchas tefillah says as follows. The Rambam says, "Hey, devorim ma'akvim esatfillah." There are 5 things which are ma'akav the tefillah. It means if it's not done, the tefillah is worthless. Ma'akvim esatfillah. They hold back the tefillah. Afapi, she gives me kavana salev, and one of these 5 things is the kavana of the leg. The kavana of the leg. Ketzad, called tefillah she'ena b'chavana. Any tefillah which doesn't have kavana, which doesn't have the proper intentions, ain't a tefillah. Be mispala below kavana, chayza mispala below kavana. He has to repeat the tefillah. Whatever you daven is worthless. You have to repeat the tefillah. Motza daita mishabeshes v'libo Torah also mispala. So if he's coming, if his mind is not clear, he's coming after a hard day and he can't concentrate his thoughts, the halachas he shouldn't daven because his tefillah is worthless. That's what the Rambam says. Okay, from the Lashon HaRambam it's mavur that halacha implies the whole tefillah. The whole tefillah has to be a tefillah in which you have proper kavanah. Like he says, the Chaim and the Rambam brings in Perek Yud, Misha spalav lo kiven eslibo yachsav yispalav kavanah. If he wasn't mechaven eslibo, he has to return and daven again with kavanah. Being kiven eslibo bebracha rishena, but if he's mechaven his leg with the first bracha, that's Mogen Avram, Shuvei Netzor, Mogen, he doesn't need to repeat the tefillah. Mavor lehetchet, the kavana ina, ma'akev is rak bracha rishena. Whole kavana is only ma'akev in the first bracha, not the whole shmones. So Chaim, in Chidush Rabbeinu Chaim Alevi goes on to explain in great length, there are 2 types of kavana. The kavana that the Rambam talks about, that the kavanah is ma'akev, and if one doesn't have kavanah, the tefillah is worthless. That is the kavanah basically of tefillah. The kavanah of tefillah is that a person has to realize that he's standing in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom, Melech, Malchi, Hamlachi. He has to have the right. He has to stand straight, and he has to dress properly. This is the whole idea of tefillah. One is standing in front of the King of Kings, the King of the whole world, the Creator of the world, and he's asking his needs. That kavanah is ma'akev, and that kavanah is ma'akev all the tefillah. If a person, even not the first bracha, not the second bracha, not the third bracha, but the whole essence of tefillah is that a person has to realize he's standing in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. That is the essence of tefillah. So if a person at any time is not fully aware that that's his primary duty, to stand in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom and ask his needs, he is not Yetzer Tefillah, period. But then there's another kavanah, and that's the kavanah's hamilin. He has to have the kavanah for the words he's saying. And that kavanah for the words he's saying, the halachas, he also has to be in touch with the word, whatever he's saying. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu, Elokei Avosseinu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak. He has to have intention. He has to know the words that he's saying. It's not that he's rattling off the words and it's like a child, in a game. He has to realize he's davening words of tefillah, and he has to have kavanah for these words of tefillah. And that halacha is only ma'akev in the first bracha. In the first bracha, he needs the proper words. If he doesn't have the proper words, then he's not Yetzer Tefillah, and he has to restart the whole Shemona Esrei. However, if he has the proper kavanah, number one, he knows he's standing in front of the Melech Malchei Malchim, the King of Kings. He knows he has that, which is, he has that kavanah in the whole tefillah. Number two, he has the kavanah of the milim. He's knowing, he has intention of saying these words. He's not just rattling off the words with no meaning at all to it. He knows these are words of tefillah, and he has kavanah for the words of the tefillah. Then that halacha is ma'akev only in the first bracha. In the rest of the brachas, he doesn't need to have that kavanah. Now I want to extend that a little bit more. And basically, and show that we don't have any contradictions between the Rambam on one hand and the Gemara in Taanis. The Gemara in Taanis says another thing, that the tefillah of a person is nishmas, is accepted. What does it mean the tefillah of a person is accepted? That means the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to accept his tefillah. And because the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to accept his tefillah, whatever is going to come because of that. The Rebbeinu Shalom is going to give schar, is going to reward a person. Now, the Nefesh HaChaim goes in great length to accept what is the idea of tefillah. And the Nefesh HaChaim explains that in general, the world is connected in a ruchnius way. If we do a mitzvah down here, somehow that interconnects with all the worlds that Rebbeinu Shalom created. And because of that interconnection, the Rebbeinu Shalom, Jew does a mitzvah, Tzibur does a mitzvah, Klal Yisrael does a mitzvah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu returns the schar of the mitzvah through the world. That means if Jews are doing properly, they're working properly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises us we'll have good, we'll be shalom, there'll be peace, there'll be health, v'chulu, v'chulu, v'chulu. Part of that connection is through tefillah. Tefillah somehow connects the world. Now, tefillah is an unusual thing. Tefillah is like a person pressing a button. When you press a button, the current is connected. You open up the what's the same, and suddenly there's a connection and between the wires, and the current flows. So basically, through tefillah, the current occurs. The current of ruchnius occurs in the world, and the Rebbeinu Shalom responds in his way. We ask the Rebbeinu Shalom, and we press a button, and on the day we press a button, that current becomes an actual thing. A current of ruchnius goes out, a current of bakosha, a current of connection, and that's the Iker Nakuda, a current of connection between all the olamas, between all the worlds that Rebbeinu Shalom created. And Rebbeinu Shalom responds to us through his methods that he gives through those worlds and chiburim, a world, a physical world for us, what's good for us physically and mentally for the human being. But Chaim Volozhin says a meritic that the words of tefillah, person has to be mechaven to the words of tefillah. What should a person do? Bismana said, Chaim Volozhin says. Chaim Volozhin in Shar Beis, Perak Yud Gimel, gives us an eitzah. It says, the Maggid said to the Beis Yosef, Lizor malachsho b'shas hatfila b'shum machshova afilu shoter. When you're davening, don't think of any other thoughts, even of terror, even of mitzvahs. Don't remove from your mind all other things. Remove from your mind. Afilu shoter mitzvahs ki'im b'tevas hatfila. Just concentrate on the words of davening. You're thinking, Baruch Atah Hashem, you say, Baruch Atah Hashem. Those words speak to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Those words connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom. They're the connector words. Dov b'dvorov, be careful what he says. Shelo omer l'chavin b'chavonas hatevis. He doesn't say a person should be mechaven in the kavanah, in the underlying reason, underlying meaning of the words, but he says, that doesn't say it. Ki be'emes ba'omek pinimis, I'll explain why in a minute. Ein ato yodei adma. He says, but what he does say is, a person should have kavanah in the words itself. Now let me explain what he says. The Nefesh HaChaim says a meridik yechidish. And Nefesh HaChaim says, who was masaking the words of tefillah? Who was masaking? Who made the words of tefillah? We know that mi'ikr din d'oraisa, we don't have a specific nusach of the tefillah, but who was masaking the words of tefillah? So the Gemara tells us that the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah that went up with Ezra and came up to Eretz Yisrael, they were masaking tefillah, and the Gemara says among them Kufchav's Kingdom, there was 120 elderly great scholars, and among those 120 scholars, there was a lot of Nevi'im. Every word of tefillah has meanings, hidden meanings. So every word of tefillah has an effect, because the Chazal were masaking these words. So every time you say these words, they have an effect. Havdil, Elef, Havdalas, I can't even compare. I'm just giving you that you should understand. You know, the ones who read or followers of Chas v'Sholom, Harry Potter. You say a magic word, abracadabra. What happens? Ooh, something happens. Magic happens. Connections happen. So when you say these words of tefillah, the kuf chavskenim, and every word had a meaning. Every word had a kavanah. Every word had hidden meanings to it. So when you say that word of tefillah, you make a connection. Boom! You press the button, the electricity starts flowing, and the Rebbeinu Shalom connects to you through your tefillah, and the Rebbeinu Shalom sends back to you what you need: health, prosperity, etc., etc., etc. So you only need to have kavanah to say the word. To say the word. That's all you need. Baruch. I have to think Baruch. I don't have to think of the meaning of Baruch. I just have to think of the word Baruch. Elokei Avosseinu, Elokei Avram. I have to know what I'm saying. In Elokei Avram, there's so many different meanings to it. Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, there's so many hidden meanings. But you don't have to have that kavanah. You just have to have kavanah to say the word, and that's enough. That's the kavanah. That kavanah is ma'akev in the first bracha. If you don't have kavanah to say the word, you're not yotz. You're not yotz. That's one halacha of tefillah, in the kavanahs, in saying the word and knowing what you're saying. But if you want your tefillah to be nishmas, if you want your tefillah to be accepted, and you just don't want to work with a tefillah of just saying the words and knowing the words you're saying, you have a sick person in your house, and you want to daven for that sick person. You have a problem making a shidduch for a daughter, for a daughter, and you can't find a shidduch for her, and you want to daven for that. You have specific reasons for davening. You have a parnasa problem, and you have specific reasons for davening. You have problems. You want your tefillah to be nishmas, to be accepted for the Rebbeinu Shalom, and you want your tefillah to work for you. Then it's not enough just to say the words. You have to have kavanah for the meaning of it as well. And that's the halacha. That's the din of kavanah, which the Gemara in Taanis is referring to. So if you're davening and you're saying the words and you're standing in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom, and you know you're standing in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom and you're having kavanah for the words, okay. But you don't have the kavanah for the hidden meanings of the words, and you're just saying the words, and you know you're saying the words, okay. So your tefillah, you did a mitzvah says and you daven. No problem, you daven. But you want your tefillah to be nishmas. You want your tefillah to be accepted, and the Rebbeinu Shalom should act on what you're asking for. Then you have to have kavanah for what the words mean. It's not enough that you have kavanah for saying the words, and you know what you're saying, but you have to have a little bit more of kavanah for what the words mean. That's by a yochid. By a tzibur, when a tzibur davens, even though the tzibur is not specifically thinking of any kavanas, and they're davening like every person davens, and they're thinking other things as well, by fatur b'libam, and they're not necessarily, they know what they're saying, they know Baruch Atah Hashem, they know what they're saying, they know the words that they're saying, but they're not thinking the kavanas, the toelas, the purpose of their davening, the reasons they need it. They're saying they want to be yotzei chazor sashas, they want to be yotzei tefillas hatzibur, they want to daven b'tzibur. That is the mile of tzibur, that their tefillah is accepted even though they don't have kavanah for the milim. Kavanah for the milim doesn't mean they don't have kavanah to say the words. They have kavanah to say the words. That's for sure. But they don't have kavanah to ask what the words mean, the meaning of the words, the idea behind it, what's their needs. That they don't have kavanah for that. Oh, you don't have kavanah for that. So if you're yochid, and you're davening, so you are mekayim the mitzvah of davening, and the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to hear your tefillahs. And it does mean something, but your tefillah doesn't necessarily will be nishmas. It's going to be accepted, and your tefillah is going to be worked on. That's not going to work. That's only going to work if you have kavanah for the tefillah. Kavanah meaning over here what you want from your tefillah, the ideas behind the tefillah. As much as you can. No one can go, obviously, there's so much in davening which is impossible, but for the requirements that you feel that you need, you have kavanah for those inyanim. You want your tefillah to be nishmas, so then you have to have kavanah not only for the words, but for the meaning of it. Oh, thank you. I have a sick person in the house. Send a refuah to my child, to my mother, to my grandmother. But okay, that's if you want that particular thing to be fulfilled. You want your tefillah to be mishmas, then you have to have kavanah for the purpose of the words. But if you're just saying the words, okay, your tefillah is okay, but you're not going to be necessarily mishmas. A tzibur and davening. A tzibur is davening. A group of people are davening. Oh, their tefillah is accepted right away, as long as they said the words of tefillah. And that's what it says by foot. That's what the Gemara means. Poshet Shalom the Gemara. The Gemara says by too. Just reading the Gemara by too. But Pia, they said the words. They know the words, but they weren't machaven for the purpose of the words. By chazu b'lishainam, and with their tongues they gave lie. They said one thing, but they're thinking about other things. They said the words, they know the words, but they're not thinking about the purpose of davening. They're not thinking refuah. Please, your Rebbe, send the refuah. You're the only one who can make the refuah. But at tzibur, when a tzibur davens, even by chazu b'libam, their tefillah is accepted. So it's the difference over here is in that special aspect of tefillah nishmas. In order for a person's tefillah to be niskabel, and that's what the Rambam says, it has to be b'lev shalom. Everyone holds that the tefillah has to be there. The tefillah meaning that you have to have the kavanah of standing in front of the melech. You have to have kavanah to know that you're saying the words of tefillah. You know that you're saying the words of tefillah. It's not that you're reading the baseball scores. You know that you're davening, but you don't have kavanah for the meaning of the tefillah. So then, by tzibur, that's enough to ensure that you'll get a yeshua. A yachid only gets a yeshua if he has what? If he understands the meaning. He needs a parnasa, he davens for parnasa. He needs a refuah, he gets a parnasa. I think this can be miyashir, the Lashon Rambam and the Lashon HaGemara. Ayashikar, and Mirza Shem, we will continue in the coming weeks.